Hello, everybody, and welcome to Today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined today by my dear friends and co-founders, Steve Bowling and Derek Bittner, but no special guest today. So, funny story about that, we had a special guest lined up today that we think you guys will love, but he unfortunately has some last-minute technical issues, so we had to rebook him to next Monday. But I'm just going to tell you who it is so you can all get hyped for that. It is, in fact, Michael Damiani from the Easy Allies, one of my personal favorite channels of all time, and I think all of ours, really. We love the Easy Allies. Mm-hmm. So Damiani is going to be on with us next Monday. He was going to be today, so look forward to that, but yeah, he had some technical issues, much like we did before starting our stream today. So
they happen on Mondays.
It's one of those Mondays, thing. Right?
I do remember when we got to be on their stream, see their setup for E3. Was it 2019? Was that, or was that 2018 where we got to go on Easy Allies and react to things? One of the things going on. You've been on there so much.
I've been on a bunch. Yeah, I've been on many times.
There was one time they had like
years,
three of us, or a good chunk of the crew on, and along with them for some sort of discussion. It was the only time I was actually on Easy Allies. And
okay.
It was fun. Really impressed with their setup.
I love recording with those guys. They're just, we're good vibes gaming. I mean, they are all about good vibes and love and respect. And I love those guys. And I collaborate with them any chance I can. So we're really excited to get Damiani on next week and the other Easy Allies crew members when we can. So before we get into the news, just a little bit of housekeeping, show-related housekeeping. So starting today, we're going to be moving from our previous 5-day-a-week format to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And this is for a couple of reasons. One is that we've already had a few very slow news days where we ended up just talking about Game Awards predictions instead because there just wasn't really any news to talk about. And we've just realized that going forward, that's going to happen. 5 days, 5 days is a lot to cover news.
We're getting into the dead zone that is January.
Exactly. And not only that, though, of course, it takes a lot out of us to be doing this for a couple of hours every day, and we want to be able to bring you guys more diverse content as well, and not just be posting Today's News Tonight every day. So
yeah,
we talked to our patrons, and we got some, we took the temperature of the audience, and everyone seems to understand and think that's probably a good idea to go to a 3-day-a-week format. So, do you guys have anything you want to add about that?
I mean, we're working. It takes a lot of time to build even just one produced video. And when you have to produce a video every single day on top of trying to find time to write a script, record that script, edit that script, put video to that script, it becomes a Herculean task, and one that, because we never did a daily show before, we were not really familiar with. We were kind of used to the, oh crap, news happens, bang out an update super fast, and then continue working on your produced videos. But when you actually talk about putting on an hour to an hour and a half of entertainment every single day live, then editing that same show down for a video on demand version, it's a lot of work. So getting that out the door has proven to be a little more challenging than we expected. And, because of that, our other ideas that we mentioned when we launched have been languishing. So we absolutely want to get you feature ideas that we have, more timely reviews, other stuff like that, gameplay videos, that kind of stuff.
It should not have taken me... how long ago did Hyrule Warriors launch? I should have had that review done a long time ago. Yeah. But it's one of those things where I'm able to do this and a few other things, but... new baby, help out Amy.
Right.
A lot of life stuff to keep track of. Ash is still in the process of moving and finding his desk. Steve, you just got married. So there's a lot of real life stuff that kind of gums up the works as it were, along with that. So being able to take it a little easier, not have to worry about the show every night will definitely be good, because especially in my case, with me streaming as well, I was streaming every single day, twice on Wednesdays.
And that's kind of like your other job, too, because like Steve and I have, we have our regular jobs outside of GVG, and you stream outside of GVG. So plus you have your baby. So we all have things going on that it's just, we want to be able to balance everything. We want to bring you guys in GVG better than we can with, doing this every single weekday. So,
because trust me, I have ideas. I'm looking forward to getting them out there, but I just need time.
I've been working on a feature for the last month that we've been doing GVG. So, and I really, really need this extra time to focus on that feature and get it out. And plus, I imagine someday I'll get to play Cyberpunk. I don't know. It seems like maybe Cyberpunk doesn't exist. I heard there's reviews for it out now. But if you're in the US, there's a really good chance you didn't review it today.
I mean, I'm hearing some off-the-wall things like Cyberpunk's getting good reviews, but it's also apparently really buggy and crashes a lot.
So I've heard the same,
I cannot recommend. A good friend of mine and someone we should really look into having on the show, Alex Donaldson from RPGsite.net. He published a gargantuan review that is an absolute must read. It touches on everything. It touches on concerns about transphobia in the game. It touches on
I've definitely heard about that.
Core elements of the gameplay. It touches on the societal impact it's had, and it touches on technical performance bugs, glitches, all the stuff that you want to know about Cyberpunk is in this one review, and it's one of the best reviews I've read of any game all year. So RPGsite.net, you should definitely go check it out. I do, however, I know this is your hosting episode, Ash, but I do have one piece of breaking news, and I think you guys know where I'm headed with this. The best kind of news, Blind Man just edited their pledge from live audience to producer. So from 5 to 10, thank you so much for increasing your contribution. I don't know if you're in the audience tonight. I haven't seen you in the chat, but I just want to let you know we appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. That's always awesome when that happens. That is... you guys are fantastic.
It's always the best when it happens during the show because we can
talk
about
right?
it live.
Maybe I think they might time that on purpose.
if you're going to edit your pledge, do it while we're recording.
Hey, there's Blind Man.
There he is.
Hey,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That is awesome of you.
Even though we are switching, just really quick, just so everybody knows and is aware, even though we are switching to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday format, make sure to be here with us on Thursday because we are still going to be live streaming,
and that's going to be for
our
everybody.
Reactions to the Game Awards, and that's for everybody. So
that's just a stream. So
and we'll be going forward too. If big news, we've mentioned this before, but if major news breaks on a Tuesday or Thursday, we're going to cover it and we'll talk about it. We're not going to just skip it because of our 3-day-a-week format. If something big happens, like Sora gets in a Smash on a Tuesday, we're going to talk about that. Don't worry about that.
Or anybody gets into a Smash on a Tuesday.
Anybody gets into Smash. Yeah.
Really.
Exactly.
It's interesting. It's it's great, but it should be interesting for that. And we do have Game Awards stuff in here, which we'll get to eventually. But yeah, I haven't looked too deeply into the Cyberpunk stuff. I honestly wasn't too interested in it. I haven't picked up a Witcher game yet either, so I don't really know what I'm missing out on, for lack of a better term. But I've heard two things that give me pause. One is gameplay elements, which immediately gave me horrible flashbacks, where apparently you have a cell phone and your buddies can call you up at any time.
Oh, God.
GTA 4, anyone?
Yeah, exactly. Roman.
The thing
is... Roman in GTA 4.
Oh, God.
Yep. I hated that guy.
Oh, God, that element is not a good one. And the other
one, I don't want to bowl with you. Leave me alone.
Yeah. The other one I heard about was really interesting because it just gives me more in-depth to the trans perspective, where they think they do have options to, not match your gender to your genitals, I think is the term they used for it. I forget the exact terminology they were using, but it's not what determines your sex is actually your choice of voice. And that's a major thing apparently in the trans community, where their voice really matters for how they're viewed. And I get it. I hear that. I'm like, okay, I get it. That is a massive oversight. And as somebody was saying, is I can't wait to play it in 6 months when it's all patched up and better. So hopefully that'll be a patch to fix that issue.
I'm in no rush to play Cyberpunk. I'd rather get it secondhand, honestly, because I just don't really want to support, the company culture, as it were. As we had seen some of the transphobic stuff coming out of CDPR, and I just, I don't judge anybody who does. If you want to go buy it new and play it day one, go do it, and you can make that distinction. Yeah. But it's just not. I think I'm going to wait. I want to check it out, but I think I'll wait.
There's always going to be problematic media out there, but.
Exactly.
You just have to don't defend it, just recognize that it's there and being like, I understand this, it sucks, but I'm still going to try to enjoy it, I think is the way to look at it.
I have a hard time processing how I feel about Cyberpunk, especially since I haven't played it yet. But the social media messages are shitty for sure.
Yeah.
Like the things we've seen, the transphobic stuff on social media, but I also kind of have to afford the benefit of the doubt. Like the social media person didn't make the game, right? Like,
sure.
You know, so
definitely.
I mean, because games are made by huge companies. It also, and again, this isn't like a defense of the game, but it comes from Poland, which I understand is an incredibly conservative country. One might even say backwards in some respects. You know, the same way Japan kind of has like progressive, kind of shitty, pervasive, systemic, like racist issues. You know, that doesn't mean that necessarily. Oh, and apparently, according to the chat, Fantasy Thinker Fan says the social media person that posted those messages got fired. So that's that's good. But yeah, I think there's also value in media that portrays horrible things. Like, you know, Red Dead 2 without the racist imagery in it would not be an accurate depiction of America at that time.
Right.
It sucks, but I also think there's value, and Cyberpunk, of course, doesn't have the value of teaching us a historical lesson, but from what I've read, it kind of points to like, what if society's most base impulses go unchecked? What if 2020 goes on for 57 years?
Oh God.
Which it feels like it has, but what if?
It already does.
Exactly. So I can understand like portraying a society that is intentionally meant to be bad.
Apologies, by the way. That's not good imagery to put out there anyway.
Right.
Insensitive.
Anyway, sorry. We should definitely get on to the news. But
sounds good. All right. Well, then let's go ahead and do that. Let's cover the news for today. So let's go ahead and bring up our first story.
All right.
And that, of course, and we know you guys would call foul if we didn't talk about this. This has become a bit of a mess. So this weekend, Nintendo held its Splatoon 2 North American Open, and they were going to live stream the finals, but they ended up canceling it at the last second due to what seems to be, it seems to be because some of the teams, like the team names and their handles, had like the FreeMelee hashtag in it. So basically, these Splatoon teams were showing support for the FreeMelee Save Smash movement, and Nintendo doesn't like that, and they're really making themselves look like the villains here, I gotta say. So basically, they canceled this live stream because they didn't want the FreeMelee Save Smash imagery out there, the hashtag imagery out there, and so. Yeah, they're really doubling down, and this of course stems from last month when they canceled the Big House Smash event, or they ended up canceling the whole tournament basically because they didn't want the tournament organizers to use copies of the game that could how do I say this? They basically you have to. Well, they say you have to illegally download copies to use this Slippy mod, right, to be able to play Melee online, but apparently that's not true. So people are calling foul, saying, well, you don't even have to use an illegally acquired copy of the game to use the Slippy mod. Nintendo doesn't care. They said you can't play Melee online, you can't use this mod, and shut the tournament down. And so that started the FreeMelee Save Smash movement, and Splatoon 2's players were showing support for that movement, and Nintendo canned a live stream of the tournament. So they're really digging in here, guys. And on top of this now, there are also Joy-Con that are being called Edicons, Joy-Con that are being made to honor the late Etika, that Nintendo basically is not allowing to be made anymore. They can't be sold. And that actually may be unrelated, though, because it might actually just because the Joy-Con logo can be seen on the Joy-Con.
Yeah,
and
I took a little bit a closer look at the Edicon one because I wasn't sure what was going on because there's a lot of news in our fan Discord talking about this, and it just kept getting updated with more information. Yeah. And apparently, like it's been around for a while, and it's getting pulled now just because of they called Joy-Con boys, and it seems to be unrelated. It's just poor timing or something that happened a while ago, and people are just noticing because Nintendo's the bad guy now. But the campaign for these were canceled over a year ago. A second because it was unsuccessful. A second one was successful, and it's basically just because Joy-Con was in the name is what it seems to be. So I wanted to bring that up. I put that in the news because it felt like a good idea to clarify. Mm-hmm. Says Nintendo's doing not great things, not having a good look, but it's not, in this particular case, it seems to be mostly innocuous and more a copyright protection thing, which might be the case going in here. It's just... the Splatoon thing is definitely the Splatoon thing definitely feels like a step too far.
Like the Etikon thing, it's unfortunate, right? Because it's a sensitive issue. I have nothing but love and respect for Etika. Rest in peace. But you can't use that official trademark name or logo on unofficial merchandise, right? Even if the concept behind it is wholesome and the right thing to do. I could see why Nintendo doesn't want them selling those, even for charity. And it sucks because there's really a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing going on here with the Etikon thing, and that just really sucks because it's a wholesome thing to do, but they do own that copyright, and you can't do that, right?
I have some feelings on both of these things. The Splatoon thing is not cool. I think that's just messed up.
I agree.
Okay, I get that they didn't want people with FreeMelee in their team names on an official Nintendo live stream. I get that Nintendo doesn't want to deal with this type of situation at all. But really, Nintendo has a long history of not letting fans do what they want with their games. I mean, this is not news. Nintendo is always going to do something this crappy when it comes to this type of activity. If there's even a whiff of piracy or a whiff of modification they don't like involved, like Nintendo is notoriously both protective and litigious when it comes to their IPs. I mean, when's the last time you saw a fan game that was actually good?
That survived?
Yeah. And so this is Nintendo being Nintendo. On the other side of things, though, and I agree with Derek here, the Captain Alex Etikon thing was Captain Alex poking the bear too many times. These things had been up for a while. But he, and again, he's a very talented artist, and I wish that this didn't happen. But at the same time, they gently warned him about this before. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me back. We've talked in DMs before. I think he's a very nice, very talented person. But at the same time, Nintendo was like, hey, man, don't use our IPs. And so what does he do? He produces a Mario 35th pin using their art. He's like, well, and the excuse was basically like, well, I traced it. I'm like, that doesn't work.
That's,
and then they came after him. They kind of gave him the soft tap on the shoulder and were like, hey, man, not cool. We don't want to have to send the ninjas. And he's like, send them. So they did. And they came after everything. And that's really unfortunate that a loving tribute to Etika got caught up in this.
Yeah.
Maybe shouldn't have poked the bear.
Yeah. I mean, we know Nintendo's stances on these things. They're always going to viciously protect their IP, even when it doesn't seem to the layperson that their IP is at risk. And it is unfortunate that such a wholesome tribute to Etika got caught up in this, though, like you said, Steve. And I have to say, I agree with both of you, or I agree with you, Steve, about the Splatoon thing going too far. And I say this as somebody, as I said before, when this first happened with the Big House, I don't think Nintendo does need to be expected to support Melee in an official sense. I don't think that, it's a really old game that a small echo chambery part of the Smash community keeps playing and keep playing it. But that's my whole point is this is petty. And even as someone who doesn't care that much about the Save Melee movement or the Free Melee movement, this is petty at this point. Let Splatoon 2 players express their support for fellow Nintendo fans, right? Fellow competitive players.
They're Streisanding affecting themselves a bit here. Because the more they try to cover up, the more people are going to get upset and label them the bad guys and just try to do everything they can to do this. And as Steve said before, it's Nintendo. Nintendo's always been this way. It's never been any different. I saw people bringing up old quotes from Iwata, but kind of taking them out of context because Iwata also talked about having to protect the rights. We don't want to do anything too bad, but we still have to protect our rights. And, no matter who that's under, this is Nintendo. This is just how they've been. And it sucks, especially when you look over at the Sonic community and what Sega allows them to do. But it's just a difference in viewers in views, and you can point at Disney in the same way, how they sued a preschool for using Mickey Mouse.
Right,
because of that whole thing. But when you have these extremely iconic characters, I kind of get it. But it's trying to put a lid on something that does not work. It's just let people complain, wait for it to blow over. That's all. That's really the best thing you can do at this point. But Nintendo constantly has to make things all sunshine and rainbows, which does not make them sunshine and rainbows. And it all goes to crap. And canceling the Splatoon tourney, I think, was definitely a bad move, especially because then all the teams pulled out of the tournament and then hosted their own unrelated stream. They say,
Well, and Evernight Studio puts it perfectly. They said canceling the Splatoon tournament for the presumed reasons feels like straight-up censorship and just doesn't look good. And I agree. I mean, regardless of your position on Save Smash, FreeMelee, all of it, this seems like Nintendo shutting down any potential for discussion or criticism, and it's not a good look. And I want to make it clear, this isn't just about FreeMelee. It's about Smash in general. I mean, Smash Ultimate's competitive community is imperiled at this point as well, because Nintendo really is actively hamstringing the efforts of the competitive community to make competitive Smash a big thing, as big as it could be. But Nintendo clearly just isn't interested, and they don't have to be. That's their right. But it is a shame that they not only are not interested, but seem to go so far the other way in trying to actively hamstring the competitive community, not just for Melee, but for Ultimate and Smash in general. So, there's a lot of pettiness to go around, I think. I mean, I think there's pettiness on both sides for sure, but Nintendo took it way too far by canceling the Splatoon 2 open live stream just because players were showing their support for the competitive Smash community. At least that's 100%. My take on it. Yeah.
And the thing is, at this point, there's always going to be at least one person at every one of these sort of events that might get streamed with that are going to have a free Melee thing, or they get on mic free and have a free Melee thing. It's a thing now. It encourages people to make it a movement, which just will have Nintendo crack down even more. So it becomes this game of one-upsmanship, and unfortunately, Nintendo holds the rights, so they're going to win in the end, no matter what.
Yeah. It's like the whole Blitzchung thing, or Blitzchung, with much lower stakes. I don't know. It definitely gives me... Was that this year? Blizzard in Hong Kong?
This year seems so long, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
I
I guess... to play devil's advocate, it also, is worth mentioning that Nintendo has a reason to be gun-shy with the Smash community. I mean, look at all the scandals that have happened in just the past year, especially the past year. And that's not saying that the Smash community... I would say the Smash community took the right steps, though, in excising those really problematic parts of the community immediately. I think, surprisingly, the Smash community reacted pretty quickly and said, no, these abusers and all these assholes got to go, and that's good. But to Nintendo's, to be fair, they do have a reason to be gun-shy about supporting competitive Smash, on a grand scale because of all the scandal that has riddled the community.
Are you kidding me?
But I think that there's a middle ground. They could kind of meet somewhere in the middle here. But I do get Nintendo's reticence, in this case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a real shame. But maybe the competitive Smash community will find itself in better straits in a couple years' time with Nintendo. But it doesn't seem as though Nintendo just really has any reason to care, and they don't. I mean, they're selling copies of Smash Ultimate, hand over fist, and they're going to continue to, because most people don't care about the hardcore competitive community. They just want to play Smash. So
The problem, too, from a marketing perspective, is if you do something like re-release or officially support Melee, you're in a way like tacitly endorsing that Melee might be better than Ultimate. And there's no company alive that's going to say, hey, this old version of this game, that's the one we want you to buy. There serves no logical purpose for Nintendo to bring back Smash Melee for people. And, I get it. It sucks. It's abandoned on the GameCube. GameCubes are a commodity these days. It's difficult, but at the same time, I mean, there's a lot of other games out there to play. I don't feel terrible about this. I'd love to see it just get re-released on like a virtual console, but I'm also not yearning to go back to Melee anytime soon.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is that at the end of the day, the people who are, this is a very, very small slice of a much broader community. And there just isn't any financial incentive for Nintendo to keep officially supporting Melee. Even Sakurai doesn't think Melee is the best Smash game. So if he doesn't think so, why does anybody think that that's, going to go anywhere?
It's nostalgia at this point almost.
Yeah. And I just also feel like if Nintendo ever did release Melee online, like Melee HD online, I'm sure they would do something that the competitive community didn't like to it.
I don't know if you were looking at the chat, but Jared Edinger just said the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Jared, exactly the same point. If they brought it back, the competitive community, they're so hardcore about this game that they would find something that the official HD version doesn't do right. And that's fine. But what's Nintendo's stake in this? Why do they need to continue supporting Melee? They don't. And unfortunately, the same holds true for they don't need to support Ultimate Competitive either, although I personally wish they would, because I love watching competitive Smash. But, it is what it is.
The funny thing is, they don't need to support it, but I think that's also people's arguments for why should they care if people are using this online method. It's an old game that they don't sell anymore, and that covers just a wider issue that we've talked about with Nintendo before, where they need to get their legacy out there. Make it available. It's beyond necessary at this point because people love each of these games, and they might be a problem, might be a pain in some cases, but find some way because it'll shut them up at the very least.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope competitive Smash can recover from this, both Melee and Ultimate. I respect the fact that Melee players love their game. I just draw the line at, Nintendo has to support it, has to pour money into it. No, they don't, but definitely keep playing your game, and I hope that both Melee and Ultimate continue to will have a healthy future competitively, but so far it doesn't seem like Nintendo cares too much about that either way, so we'll see how that goes. But I think we've said about as much as we can about this, so let's go ahead and move on to our next story. And that is, quite awkwardly, that the Monster Hunter movie has already been pulled from Chinese theaters after just one day due to a racist line that somehow made it into the movie. I'm kind of hesitant to repeat the line myself. I watched the clip and I had no idea that this was an offensive thing, but I can absolutely see why it is. How do you guys feel about this? Do you want to talk about what it says, or do you just want to...
I'm going through because I saw the clip and it didn't click with me because I just thought I heard it and I saw the clip and I was like, that's a dumb joke. That was all it was.
That's what it seemed like to me.
That's the thing. It's not funny to me.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what the line is.
Oh, okay.
I read the tweet, but the video was pulled from Twitter at the time I looked at it.
If you go down... So... Let's dive in because Zuge has a really good thread here about why this is not so good.
I read the whole thread. I just don't know what the original quote was.
Oh,
it's in
the line is, "What kind of knees are these? Chinese."
Oh God!
Yeah, it's not a good joke.
Dumb. Yeah, it's not a good. Yeah.
And then they translated it to like something that is seen as near like an epithet of sorts.
Maybe
in the subtitling in Chinese.
There's apparently, according to Zuge Daniel Ahmad, multiple Chinese people, including people I've spoken to, said that the scene reminded him of this racist rhyme, which goes Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees. Look at these.
What? And that I hadn't heard that part. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The rhyme is accompanied with gestures such as slanted eyes, slapping knees, and pointing at breasts. So, like a kid's line. So, the slanted eyes things for the first two lines, pointing at the knees for that, and then, of course, it is, but not
also
good.
And it's not even as though they kept it in for any sort of gain. It's not a funny line anyway. Even taking the offensive part out of it, it's not as though I saw that line and it was like, oh, this is really clever. It's not. It's a dumb line anyway.
So it gets even worse. According to point 3, it was further exacerbated by the way the film was subtitled in China. The translation was completely changed to reference a Chinese idiom, which he has the Chinese, and it essentially became about kneeling down, which further played into the dirty knees part of the rhyme.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that is how you don't release a movie in China, I guess. Which is that's a shame for Capcom, because the Chinese market was probably this movie's potentially
one saving grace.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to do that well in the U.S.
In the chat, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because it's just a mess of letters, but it says, please don't give money to this stupid movie. Someone lost an arm during production of this movie. What?
Is that true? That's terrible.
I think it was probably a stunt person. I've heard about some. I don't think the director is the safest when it comes to stunts. Stunt people.
Not.
I don't believe.
I mean, but losing a damned arm for a Monster Hunter movie.
Yeah. Okay. Someone was. It was a stunt double for Mia Jovovich. Oh no, that was in Resident Evil. Let's see here.
That was an old one, but yeah.
But there's no way.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's happened before. It's not great.
Oh, okay. So a reason not to watch the upcoming monster movie is because a Resident Evil stunt woman was abandoned by the producers after losing her arm filming the final chapter.
I can't believe
not Monster Hunter, but still
breathed a sigh of relief about that. But I mean, I'm glad to know it already happened and it's not a second occurrence of somebody losing a limb.
There's still stuff going on where apparently in the final Resident Evil movie, someone had died during production in that movie. So I don't know if it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson at that point, but
hire better people.
Yeah.
Give your IPs, give the movie rights to your IPs to better people, please.
This comes from someone named Punishing Crab on Reddit, but apparently this stunt woman who lost her arm in Resident Evil: The Final Chapter said the movie's producers misled her into believing that their insurance would cover any potential injury sustained during the job. She claims the producers, quote-unquote, abandoned her and took out an insurance policy that only covered $33,000 of her medical expenses. After the accident, she said she was paid $990. Only $990 in lost earnings, despite the film's success and gross of more than $300 million. That's
wow.
Were they
disgusting?
I know this sounds like morbid, but were they able to reattach her arm, or did she have to get a prosthetic?
Probably a prosthetic.
I have no idea.
Yikes.
It was a motorcycle scene they were shooting, and the camera she was driving toward was supposed to be raised upward for the shot, but it didn't move, and she struck it, shattered her arm, and fucked up her spine.
Ooh, no. Oh my God. My skin just tried to get off my body.
Me too. That's terrible. Okay, well, that's a really good reason not to... Yeah, right?
Oh.
That is a really good reason not to support this movie, as if you needed another reason not to support it, because it looks terrible anyway. But it's got a racist line, and
they shot themselves in the foot with that stupid line. Like they just killed any chance they had having a decent box office worldwide.
And it's just such a for what? What a dumb line. For what did you make that sacrifice, or did they make that sacrifice?
I think there was to play not devil's advocate, but to go into the thinking of it, it's like, these guys get along. It's like Predator or Aliens, where it's just these military guys talking crap about each other and gets their personalities out there. And I guarantee this guy probably died within the next 10 minutes, or within 2 minutes of a monster showing up.
Yeah.
That is the line of a throwaway character.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we've had 2 downer stories so far, but fortunately our next story is uplifting. So let's go ahead and get that up on screen. And this is about the Game Awards, which are coming up on Thursday. But Jeff Keighley has confirmed that for the first time ever, the Game Awards are going to have a special descriptive audio mode live stream on YouTube Gaming for the hearing impaired. And he basically says accessibility matters, and they're embracing accessibility this year with the Game Awards. And I think that is fantastic. Accessibility does matter. It matters a whole hell of a lot, and I'm so happy that they are taking this step, and I hope to see them take more steps in future years. But I think this is a great first step.
Yeah. I'm not Jeff Keighley's biggest fan, but I will be the first in line to say this is absolutely great. I appreciate that he's doing this. I appreciate that the Game Awards is broadening its audience, because there are tons of disabled gamers that have issues with specifically their sight, and anything that makes any part of gaming more accessible is a good thing. There's no downside to anything like this, ever.
No. I love that accessibility seems to finally be having something of a moment in gaming. It's taken way too long to get here, but with games like The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima going all in on having, a lot of different, and not only those two games, like plenty of games, going all in on having lots of accessibility features for people of all different needs. And now with the Game Awards doing, the special descriptive audio live stream, it's great that the accessibility is finally having its moment, and I hope that it's a moment that lasts and just continues getting bigger and bigger because, Iwata said it best, right? The games are meant to be fun, and they're meant to be played by everybody. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that really does mean everybody, and everybody should be able to play games. And the more accessible games and gaming events are to everybody, the better. In addition, Keighley also confirmed that Reggie Fils-Aime is going to be back as a presenter, of course, because it wouldn't be the Game Awards without Reggie. And he also promises more than a dozen world premieres that on Thursday night.
So par for course.
Yeah, so par for the course.
Yeah. I mean, the world premiere is like, sometimes they're big, sometimes they're cool, other times like world premiere, a ham sandwich.
Right, exactly.
Dude.
So that basically means that we are all going to be at least having more than 12 shots on Thursday night. Whoa. and not surviving the experience. No, but yeah, so a dozen world premieres. Hopefully some of those will be really exciting, like Bravely Default 2 was last year for me. So hopefully there's some exciting announcements for everybody, coming down the pike here. But yeah, I gotta say, the Game Awards in general, I used to kind of look at them as a joke, and I know they're still kind of a joke, but I look forward to them now, in their own weird, lovably messy way.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steve.
The Game Awards, I've long written off. Like I've never really been. Well, first off, let me just be clear. I'm not invested in who wins what award at all for anything.
Right.
I come to the Game Awards mostly to laugh at it and to watch for cool reveals. Like, because they occasionally do get the one really cool thing. Seeing Breath of the Wild for like the first time at the Game Awards, that was dope.
Yeah,
I liked that.
That was cool.
Joker reveal was really cool. And unexpected. Eventually, maybe they'll reveal Metroid Prime Trilogy, which I was sure would happen instead of Joker.
Same. Yeah.
So the Game Awards does have some fun moments to it, and now with you guys, I'm looking forward to just kind of having like a light, easy conversation about it, covering it in our own way, putting our own good vibes spin on it. So it'll be exciting. I'm excited for Thursday, but probably not for the reasons they want me to be excited.
Yeah, my big problem with Game Awards has always been they don't seem to care about their own rewards. Because they'll have the pre-show and they'll pop out 6 or 7 of them. And just like, this one this, this one this, this one this, with this one this. All right, let's get to the next world premiere. It feels like it wants to be more of like a press conferences as a la E3 than it does an actual award show. And it's a double-edged coin because those premieres are what bring people in, I think. I don't know if as many people would watch if it was just a pure award show with nothing really else. So it's a double-edged sword there, but I do wish they'd find a better balance between honoring these games, honoring the nominations, and having these world premieres. And they can do some cool stuff, and they are improving. They do get gradually better. Just look at the old Spike Awards. I think it was Spike TV Awards that they were before Keighley really got a handle on it and did his own thing. Whew. Those are cringy.
Yeah.
It's just slow going.
I love what Charlie Bird here says. World premiere, Godfall 2. I can totally see that happening. Right?
Oof.
Even so soon after, I guess I haven't played it, but it didn't do anything for me from the moment I saw it. I can't imagine I haven't heard very good things about it. But going back to something, let's see, where is it in the chat? I can't remember who said. Oh, yeah. JCNALD with all the letters is asking me, Ash, are you still excited for the Mega Man movie after hearing this about the Monster Hunter movie? man, I was never excited about the Mega Man movie. It's going to be a mess. It's going to probably be horrible, but it's a different team making it. So it is a Capcom movie, of course, but it's a different filmmaking team making the Mega Man movie. So it's not,
By the way, I don't know him personally, but the JC, all the letters, just call him Juan. That's his actual name. And
good to know.
That's what he told me once. So just Juan. It makes it life way easier.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, well, that wraps up our news about the Game Awards for today, so let's go ahead and bring up our next story, and this is a quick one, but it's kind of cool. And that is that G, the character G, got a Skullomania costume in Street Fighter V. I think it happened just today, which is, it's really only matters if you're a Street Fighter fan, but Skullomania is a fan-favorite character from the short-lived Street Fighter EX series, when Street Fighter went 3D that one time. And so there's a trailer you can watch about just showing off the Skullomania costume, and it's cool. It looks like him. It looks like 2020 Skullomania. It's great, especially if you're a Street Fighter EX fan. I can imagine you might want to pick this up. I think it's a premium costume, of course, but this comes as we still don't know. I don't think who the final season 5 Street Fighter V character is going to be. We got Akira from Rival Schools, which was the coolest surprise in my opinion, because it's Rival Schools, and Rival Schools is awesome. But we still don't know who the 5th character is going to be, I don't think. But for now, we got the Skullomania costume. Did either of you play any Street Fighter EX? Do you have any?
No, I've heard people talk about Skullomania before, but I didn't know why it mattered. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, it's certainly an eye-catching design, but it's one of those. It just felt like one of those, like, oh, that's neat.
Skullomania was almost like Street Fighter EX's Dan, like this kind of weird offbeat character that just took on a life of their own and became insanely popular. I played EX like on the PlayStation way back when. I bounced off it hard. I was like a hardcore Street Fighter 3 fanboy at the time, and I mean, if you compare like the control precision of a game like Street Fighter 3 and the late 90s, early aughts, like 2 or 3D fighter jank that is the Street Fighter EX series, it is two completely different types of people that enjoy those. And I just never really got into the 3D Street Fighter games.
Same.
But Skullomania, I did like his design, and I was super excited when he came to Fighting EX Layer, which is developed by the people that made Street Fighter EX, I believe, as kind of their own spiritual successor. So it's a really cool thing they're including. Right? That said, I mentioned it before, Street Fighter V isn't my thing. Like, Street Fighter V is just not a game I really truly enjoy. Yeah, but I'm happy for it. I'll probably do the battle. I think you unlock him by fighting him in that costume during the time period, because it's like December 8th tomorrow.
One of those event battles.
Right before the holidays, December 23rd.
Oh, okay. So it's not
I'll be honest, I don't even know who G is. Is that a new character?
He looks like Uncle Sam. He's like a weird he's Uncle Sam.
I think for a while there was like some sort of speculation that he might actually be Q, or he ends up being Q from Street Fighter 3. I don't know if that's actually true or what lore is there. But he's got this Uncle Sam kind of presidential look to him. He's really goofy, and I don't see how he could possibly be Q, given Q's not goofy at all. He's just like this guy with a creepy mask and a trench coat.
Tank.
Yeah, exactly. He's a new character, well, newish character. I think he was in season 3. I think he was a season 3 character.
Yeah, I think so.
But he is original to Street Fighter V. So. Yeah, so that's a cool little Easter egg for the Street Fighter EX fans out there. But let's go ahead and get our next news story up on the screen. And this concerns Nintendo's original IP for mobile, which I continue to forget exists, and that's, of course, Dragalia Lost. I always forget that this game is a thing, but it's not only a thing, it's thriving. People love this game. It's still doing well, and it has had a few collaborations over the years, including with Mega Man, which was out of nowhere. It was called Mega Man Chaos Protocol, but that's not what we're talking about today, because the latest Dragalia Lost update has been data mined, and it includes references to a Persona 5 Strikers collaboration, which is ironic considering P5 Strikers also just got its Western release date last week. So there's apparently going to be a Persona 5 Strikers collaboration in Dragalia Lost. We don't know when, but the characters who were found in the data mine are Joker, Morgana, Panther, Sophia, and Arsene. So whatever's coming down the pike for this, it's going to have those 5 characters in it probably. And do either of you play Dragalia Lost? Did you play it, or?
I tried it when it first came out, but I kind of bounced off of it. But Amy played it for a while, and she actually played during the whole Mega Man event thing, experienced a bunch of that, was into the characters and whatnot. She liked how a lot of the characters looked and was into it. But then she eventually I'm not getting the new stuff that I wanted. I'm not really, feeling it. So she kind of dropped it as well. She might go back and pick up at some point, but I don't think it's anything there. And she was always doing the side content, not even the main content. It's just because there was so much. But a Strikers collaboration is kind of cool. I mean, what makes it Strikers is the fact that Sophia is there, which is the original character in Strikers, the AI girl, and the white shirt.
Right.
So that's cool. And cross promotion is good, but it's also funny. It's Nintendo's advertising this, but God help them if they can actually get a Persona game on the Switch.
Right. Kairudo adds a little context here. As an avid Dragalia Lost player, they say, it's implied the next crossover event will be in February, although that's not confirmed. And I should point out, too, that this is still considered a rumor, so it's not 100% confirmed, but it does seem to be pointing that way.
Yeah, so. I feel like this is one of those where there's smoke, there's fire kind of situations, because if it is, in fact, in February, that's when Persona 5 Strikers comes out, which makes a lot of sense. So I played a little of Dragalia Lost, and I liked what I played, but I hate to say it, but I just don't play mobile games very much.
Yeah.
When I think of a pocketable device that I want to play games on, my Switch is right there. and that, there's no topping the Switch for me, and if I already have limited time to play games, so when I do, and I don't feel like being on my TV, my Switch is going to be what I go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, same. I play a couple of mobile games once in a while, but they're pretty much always rhythm games. I think mobile is actually a great platform for rhythm games.
Oh,
but that's pretty much all I care to play. I don't play platformers or really even. I was playing FF6, the mobile version of FF6, for a while with those really ugly sprites, and they actually aren't as ugly in motion. They're not as bad as they look in screenshots, but it's still not the kind of game I care to play on mobile. So I have a couple of rhythm games I break out every once in a while, but that's pretty much it for mobile for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool and it's on its own. It's nice to have those crossovers, get people interested, because they can happen. I know I know a kid who saw plays Fortnite, saw the Mandalorian stuff that's in there now, and has since binged all of Mandalorian because that is the Fortnite effect. So. Right. If the rumors are true and Samus ends up in Fortnite, all of a sudden we're going to have a lot of kids really interested in Metroid. Which...
That's a good point.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I love this. Richard Herrera says, World Premiere, Persona Collection 1 and 2, and P5 Royal for Switch. Let's just get all the Dream announcements out in one go, right?
Nice.
Persona Collection would be kind of awesome, but I don't know. I don't know if as many people would be as hyped for 1 and 2.
Right.
Because those are very different games from 3 to 5.
Sorry, Steve, you were about to say something.
It slipped my mind.
We're fine. All right. No worries. Well, then, let's go ahead and bring up our next story then. This one I'm personally really excited about. And that is that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, has an official re-release date or relaunch date of January 14th. And Brian Lee O'Malley, the author, has confirmed that he's working on making a physical release happen as well, but that if it does, it won't happen until after the digital release. So if you're holding out for that, you're going to have to wait a little longer, but hopefully it does happen. But for the rest of us who just want to get it digitally, January 14th, hell yeah. I think this is going to have online multiplayer as well, although that's not coming for a little bit down the line. I think that's coming later.
Oh, it's not a launch?
I don't know for sure, but I remember reading somewhere that that's being held back for a little. I guess
I know initially this was supposed to come out in December, but I think they pushed it back because they didn't want to go up against Cyberpunk. So January release makes sense.
Yeah,
and boy, if they could have online ready at launch, man, I would love to play with you guys.
Yeah,
we have to do a stream for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need to do more multiplayer, or a multiplayer stream. We haven't done one yet, but we need to do some multiplayer streams. We owe the patrons a multiplayer stream soon. But yeah, this would be the game for just us, the core crew, to do it with, because I love this game. And being
it's
able
so
to,
good.
I played through the whole thing with my brother
Same.
on PS3, and I can't wait to actually play this with you guys. This will be fun.
So I'm looking for confirmation that online multiplayer won't be in the game at launch, but I could be wrong. I feel like I remember reading it, but I could be wrong, so don't take that as gospel. But either way, I think it's going to be in there eventually, if not
Rob
at launch.
Arman X says they confirmed no online, but if you play on Steam, you can use remote play to play together.
That would be
no online at all, or no online at launch?
I'm not sure about that one. To answer Blind Man's question, was this a movie tie-in game? It's kind of an amalgamation. It's movie tie-in and manga tie-in. There's a lot of references to the manga that's not in the movie, but yeah. It's
and on
sort
that
of like
note,
that third pillar.
And on that note, if you've seen the movie and you like it, but you haven't read the manga, please read the manga. It's so good. The graphic novels are only 6 of them. It's a pretty quick read, but it's one of the best reads of my life. It's so good. So if you like the movie at all, or you like the game, check out the books. It's like the best version of the Scott Pilgrim story.
Yeah, because it's impressive how much they got into, considering the books weren't finished, but when they were making the movie, they had this sort of guess. They did a good job. Definitely felt a little rushed towards the end. There's a lot of small details that weren't in there. In fact, there was a animation that was put on, I think, Adult Swim, that showed Scott and Kim's relationship in high school for a bit, and that was really well done. Made me want a full animated feature showing off all of the Scott Pilgrim story.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we'll ever get that.
So apparently I was wrong. Rob Arman X says no online at all. It's basically just a straight port. I could have sworn I heard online multiplayer is coming to the complete edition. That sucks. That's really... So I guess, okay, no stream for us then, at least of that. But of other games for sure. That's a real...
That feels wrong, because I feel like they said about online.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems like such a wasted opportunity there. But I don't know. Maybe it would cost more to implement that than they are willing to sink into this project, given what their sales expectations are. Maybe that's a shame. It's a really good game, as Steve was saying.
Yeah, it is excellent. I'm really deflated about that.
I'm looking it up now because I'm trying to look it up, and of course, as soon as I get to the Ubisoft site, it just goes nuts and it's not working.
Of course,
but I feel like I heard about it and that it has online, but I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Oh,
Wait.
Based on the popular comic book series and a movie of the same name, the re-release is the complete edition of the game, includes the Knives, Chow, and Wallace Wells add-on packs, which include online multiplayer. So it's not the full game, it sounds like. But these 2 add-on packs include online multiplayer.
Okay, yeah. Because
those add-on packs are just the characters. So... yeah, it has online multiplayer.
Okay, yeah, because I'm on Ubisoft's website right now, and it says, word for word, the complete edition of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, includes base game, DLC, online multiplayer, and Wallace pack. Online multiplayer, Wallace Wells playable character, and then the Knives Chow add-on pack, which includes Battle Royale game mode, Dodgeball game mode, drop-in co-op mode, and then Knives herself is playable, and it's for Switch, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So, Rob, you might be mistaken here. I hope you're mistaken here, because it seems as though it is going to have online multiplayer.
We will settle this question when we get codes for this, because I will get us codes for this.
Nice.
Yeah. It might be possible, like the dodgeball stuff and the battle, the fighting mode is like online, but not the base game, which would be really dumb. But
right. I guess we'll find out. But it just seems like it would have to have online multiplayer. That just seems like unless you're Nintendo, that seems like such a weird thing to leave out of a beat 'em up. You know,
maybe that was the condition for putting it on Switch. They're like, take something sensible out of it.
Yeah. No online play allowed.
What's
on Switch.
the most requested feature? You must remove it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way, I'm excited because that game rocks.
Yeah. Me too,
yeah.
Man.
Well, who are your favorite characters to play as?
I honestly always just played as Scott. I played through the whole game as Scott. I've never tried another character.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I beat it with every character to see that because each of them have a different ending.
Yeah. I always like playing as Ramona. She was my favorite.
I think I like playing as Kim.
Yeah.
Rob Arman X makes a good point. Let's not forget that Battletoads 2020 didn't have online co-op, but Streets of Rage 4 did, which,
good point.
I was super happy that I happened to get a copy of that from Microsoft as like a gift while I was at a friend's house. Like I had traveled to go visit my friend and help him build out his basement in his new house he bought, and I was in Colorado, and code came in. I was like, let's just download this on your account because I'm never going to play it without someone else. So it was a great weekend, but yeah.
Shiny Turkey says online must shut down on March 31st. I love that's become a meme. The whole
Nintendo
that's the
Doomsday
thing has become its own. Yeah, I love that. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to our final story and bring it up on the screen. And that is that the Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time art book miraculously features a tease for Spyro 4, which seems like it might be coming. So, Derek, I have a feeling you've probably looked a little bit more into this than I have.
Yeah. I took a look, and at first I was like, oh, it's just, haha, it's in the art. But no, in the description itself of the art book, it says, this is from, I think it's Brun Crows commenting on the artwork itself. It says, in the far background is Dingo's Diner, and Crash is trying to get there. This is a takeout where cars drive through, and Crash is jumping between the cars that are having their orders taken. It was fun to combine Dingo's Diner with the futuristic element to have those cars flying with the city down below. And a little hint at Spyro, which immediately you look at the next page and look at it what it is, and down below there's Spyro, and if you look below, like there's little, like almost like a mascot type thing for food, and it says Spyro 4.
I see that.
Yes.
Okay. I saw Spyro. I completely missed Spyro 4 below it, but yeah, okay, I see now. Yeah. That's cool.
It's Spyro 4, which, yes, if they can do to Spyro what they just did for Crash, yes. I've always enjoyed Spyro a bit more than Crash, as much as I love Crash, but Spyro was, I think Spyro might have been the first 3D platformer I owned. Because I didn't own an N64, so I got a PlayStation, and it came with a demo disc with Spyro, and I picked that up and fell in love.
Well, and that's actually, Spyro represents a big, regrettable blind spot in my PS1 gaming days, because I've always been into the idea of Spyro, and I like everything I've seen of Spyro, and I love platformers, obviously, but I just never got around to playing them. And I played the remastered version for a little bit on Switch, and I was floored by how good it looked. And I was like, man, I really want to play these games. So one of these days, I really if Spyro 4 is happening, that's just one more reason to play the first
it
three.
Might be time for you to sit down, because I really think you'll enjoy these games. I haven't actually.
I think so.
I beat the original game as part of the Reignited trilogy and played a little bit of 2, but didn't get it. I got pulled away by other things and didn't get to finish it. But those are some good remakes.
I was about
great
to
way
say,
to play them.
I've seen the original Spyro. I picked up the Reignited trilogy because, like Ash, I'd never played them, and God, those are some of the best looking remakes I've ever seen. Like it. They look like brand new
so
games.
Good.
Yeah.
Animation,
Patty
says
acting, all
Spyro 4 relit.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the original animations for those dragons, it's amazing, especially Spyro 1. It's amazing how much more they went into with those dragons than the original ever did. Like, it's the same dialogue, but all of a sudden they've matched the look of the area they're in, and they have these fun details to them. Every dragon feels a little bit different. It's
nice.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, here's hoping it's happening. I mean, Crash, had his big revival moment, so it feels like it's time for Spyro to have his. So
please,
here's hoping he does. And that brings us to the end of our news for the day. So thank you all, as always, for joining us as we chatted about the day's news. But, of course, before we sign off, we have to thank all of our patrons at the producer tier for helping to make this show happen, because without you all, there would be no show. So thank you all so much, as always. In addition, a huge, massive thank you to our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those wonderful people include Rob Arman X, Dan Entwistle, Z Patty, Adam O'Sullivan, Floating Mew, Christopher, The D-Pad, Vesmio, OnStar, Kieran Phillips, Benny Yao, Rosa Bowling, a.k.a. Mama Bowling, Yeller, Shiny Turkey, Titus Malvolio, Jake Pelka, Michael Phone, Mitchell Herring, Jay Acosta, Game Explain, Charles Saz, Andrew Medeiros, Jonathan Belmare, Kitty Kong Facts, and Patrick Harrison. So, as always, please remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can watch Today's News Tonight live for as little as $5 a month. But you can also support us for as little as $1 a month, depending on where what you're able to do. But either way, whether you support us at any tier or you don't support us on Patreon at all, we love that you're here, we appreciate your support, and we couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you so much. And as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. And until next time, everybody, good night and good vibes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.